Picture it, Madrid, 2011. An American, big head glasses, moves to Spain to complete a master's degree. Founder of a nonprofit chamber music ensemble for the advancement of emerging artists, bridging the gap between student and professional. He finds love in the arms of a Polish man. And through that love, he finds joy, peace, and a sense of transcendent well-being, only to have it upended by bureaucracy, forcing him and his partner to move to an island. That American was me. And that Polish man is my now deceased partner. His death took me back to a place of a 6, 7, 8-year-old boy, big head and glasses, moving from city to city, coast to coast, carrying with him a name that felt too big, undefined, wily, unruly. Moving from city to city, coast to coast. Introductions being second nature. Hi, I'm Berginald, I'd say. What? What's a Berginald? I'm Berginald. And then I'd have to tell the story about where my name came from, how I got it, what it means, and what was meant to be a moniker, singular to me, that marked my importance to my family and to this world, quickly became a site of trauma. Berginald, moving from city to city, coast to coast. Now, Berginald is the portmanteau of my parents' name, my mother, Bertha, and my father, Reginald. It was a name that was gifted to me in love, forged in love, and designed by two people who were very much in love at the time. But that name, after moving so often from city to city, coast to coast, began to take on negative connotations because of how I presented in the world. So much so that I began to shun my name. I cringed at having to say it, enunciate it, re-articulate it, clarify it for the teachers who would get it wrong, and defend it against the bullies who would use it against me. Berginald. And so my name began to mark me. Gay, Black, different. It was a concrete evidence of all the ways I was different, and I was different. And so my partner's death brought me back to that place, grieving that place of vulnerability, standing on shifting sand, having to assert myself in the face of would-be disaster, monumental change. Back to that place of that 6, 7, 8-year-old boy, big head and glasses, vulnerable. Making me wonder, who am I? What am I doing here? Why am I here? Who am I? And for a lot of people, these questions are easy to answer. I'm so-and-so, and I do X, Y, and Z. However, for others, it's much harder to enumerate. And because of my love of language, having received a master's in linguistics, I understand the power of and the work done by language. I know that if I say dog right now, we'd all understand immediately what a dog is. However, the image conjured by our mind would vary drastically from person to person. And so this idea of how language can be used to shape our understanding of things, our identity, how the ways in which we interact and conceptualize the world are oftentimes through language. These questions, I realize retrospectively, have been questions that always fascinated me. The way we craft our identities, interact with the world. And now with COVID, so many of us are struggling, grappling to hold on to our identities, because this pandemic has upended so much of our sense of identity, particularly those of us whose identities are so strongly linked to our professions. And I call this the COVID-altered identity, this existential crisis where we're struggling to hold onto the vestiges of identity that marked us prior to the pandemic. And so here I am, grieving on this island of Ireland, wondering, why am I here? Who am I? If I'm not loving this person, if I'm not developing a future with this person, planning with this person, what am I doing here? Who are you? What's your name? And it was from these questions that I realized that the times when I felt the most joy, the most peace, the greatest sense of transcendent well-being existed before my love for my Polish partner. They existed in a place of quiet, solemn, meditative practice, me and my clarinet. This private place where I didn't have to worry about the space I took up, the space I occupied in the world because of my demographics. I could just sit and reflect and play and work on the bettering of my personal musicianship. And it reminded me of a dream I had soon after my grandmother passed, my freshman year of college. And in that dream, she's coming down this old rickety staircase and she's saying, "Keep singing, baby." And I was reminded now, as I was then, that music can serve as this guiding light, this grounding force, this centering, calming entity in between the person I protect, my internal self, the one I guard and only share with a few, and the external self, the person I present to the world, the teacher, the musician, the linguist, the founder of nonprofits. It was in between this space, in this meditative space where I dwelled, where my identity dwelled, where Berginald lived, is where I realized I had joy, I had peace, I had that sense of transcendent well-being. And my name, Berginald, which is so powerful within my family because of it's coming from my mother's name, Bertha, which means glorious one. And she carries that name because of all the strong Black women before her who carried the name. And my father, Reginald, whose name means powerful ruler. And as such, has passed on his name to his children and them to their children. And so here I am, Berginald, glorious and powerful ruler, at one point not feeling neither glorious nor powerful. Having wondered who I was, what am I doing here on this island? Who am I? Now asking the question, who are you? What does your name mean? Who's the person behind the name? Because to me, one thing I realized, it was so important that my name, as undefined as it is or was, had to have the ability to expand and grow, to evolve and to be redefined the way language allows. And that, more importantly, me, the person behind my name, needed to have the space to grow and change, develop, expand, and evolve. And so now I wonder, does your name have the room to grow and be redefined? And do you, the person behind your name, are they gifted the space to develop, to change, to expand, to evolve? Are they inclusive? Do they celebrate diversity? Do they hold space for other people to live wholly and honestly in their truth, providing them the room to develop and discover who they are? I'm Berginald, and it's a pleasure to meet you.